Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Steve, and we're here today looking at a rotary in-ground lift, and it's model number Frank Paul 46 H Mark 6 frame contact. It's a Series H, um, and we're gonna change. I did change the seal on this on the piston, but I'm gonna take the ring off, show you what I did. Because I don't think there's no YouTube videos out there that I know of how to change a seal on an in-ground lift. This lift is out of a old body shop. It was installed in 1983, and literally I had to get a machine like a Bobcat to get this thing out of the ground. They had to put a chain around the hook, pull it out of the ground, disconnect the piping, which is inch and a quarter. There's the oil tank right here, and you can see it's pretty rusty right now. And sorry about me shaking it. This is the part that was on the surface of the cement of the garage floor, and the air line, which is half inch, was connected to this. This thing was full of about 35 gallons of hydraulic oil, and then it came out of the bottom here when you open up the oil valve to pressurize the system. This is the bottom of the lift here, which is in pretty good shape. Some piping, and we're going to pop this off because I already pulled the bolts out of it. This is an aluminum ring, and to identify it right here is this here, made by Rotary Lift, and I can identify the seal that you need. And I'll show you in just a minute as soon as I pry the ring off here. There it is, right here. There's some numbers on here that you have to look up when you replace a seal on any of these lifts. And it's right here, JK622. They're going to ask you for that. Um, and they sell kits. You can buy the ring. This is the lift here. It's a rotary. It's a 10 and 5/8 piston. And then there's the number right here. You identify it that way. The seal is right here. And I'm going to pull it out a little way so you can see it. You have to be very careful you don't scratch, do any damage to the seal. But this is a brand new seal I just put on. It cost me about $100. Got it from a company out in Illinois, in Batavia. All lift parts, and they sell these parts. And not gonna take it off all the way because there's a spring around here that I had to add. You have to put on right here. You can see me with a screwdriver. It seals this thing up so it doesn't come off. You got to clean this out real good. These things are susceptible to any type of heavy debris. It will cause the lift to leak, the seal to leak, which the old one was. It was. I'm down here in Florida, so there's a lot of sand and so on. But otherwise, pretty much you got to put the seal on. They give you the directions, and pretty much I got the rest of the parts right here. The superstructures right here with the arms, and it's pretty rusty looking. But what I'm going to do basically with this lift is I started cleaning it up. I'm going to buy some a rust product that you brush on here. It's from the Eastwood company. It turns basically rust in the primer. It counteracts the rust. But I'm going to go over this really good with that. I'm going to have the tank sandblasted, and then it's going to be an above ground tank. It's not going in the ground whatsoever here in the house, here at my place. But I'm going to put this back on. I'm going to put the seal back on basically, and put it back together. I am going to put in here the bolts for the ring. I am going to put some anti-seize on these bolts as well. So I'm going to tap this back in, and like I said, you have to make sure it's seated properly and there's no burrs on the edge of the piston. And sorry, I don't have a tripod here, but it's got to be seated right here. It's got to be seated correctly around here. And there is a bleeder here too, right here. It works. I do have a new bleeder for it. In fact, I'm just tightening it up so I don't lose a screw. But I ordered a new one because I wasn't sure if it was going to come loose or not. It's always good to have order that little part. They do have a kit that you get the ring, you get the bolts, the washers, the seal. It's a couple $100. I opted just to get the seal because I was able to loosen up the bolts on this thing because it did have seepage. Because the seal was leaking, it obviously it penetrated the threads here. So, and then the safety leg is right here. There's the safety leg for the lift. It's in really good shape. This lift is in really good shape. Finding out by the serial numbers that this thing was a 1983 model, and I was able to download the owner's manuals for this lift. The top of the lift in the owner's manual is not the same top that's on this lift that I have. It's I think this is a newer lift from the 1990s, but the one I have is 1983, and so I've worked on these before. I've installed a couple of these. I had one in my old house in Illinois. That one had fiberglass case around the casing. It was a 1996 Globe. What I did do with the threads on this is I put some anti-seize on the threads. I'm going to do that with these, install everything, and this thing will be ready to go in the ground probably in a month or so, I'm hoping. So this is part one of the video. I'll make another video of it when it goes in the ground and when I pipe it with new 1.25" piping. And then I'll have a nice work table in my garage. I'll be able to get my cars up almost all the way, not completely all the way up, because I have a lower ceiling in this garage. But I don't want a mid-rise lift. It takes up too much space. It's a trip hazard, and I really can't get underneath the vehicle if I have a mid-rise lift. So it's like a scissors lift. Harbor Freight sells them. Different companies sell them out there, and like I said, I'm just going to. I found this lift because they were tearing down the building. Talked to the property owner, and they were cool. They were glad I wasn't going to scrap it because that's what people do. They scrap a lot of this stuff, and if you buy these things new, there's a company in Illinois made by a company by SVI Incorporated, I believe. They build Globe lifts. They're close to, I think they're about $9,000 in 2023 since the price of steel has gone up. So yeah, there's the bottom of the superstructure, and I got the arms for it right back here, and I got the bolts for it and so on. I had a hell of a time getting the bolts off the superstructure. I really had to spray everything down, let them sit for a few days, go back out because it was an hour drive to where this lift was at. So that's it. Any questions or comments, please leave them. And I hope to hear from everybody. Like I said, I'm not keen on above ground lifts. These are old school lifts, which are very reliable if they're well maintained. So, like I said, I'm going to get this thing sandblasted, this oil tank, paint it. It's going to be above ground, and so there's no problems with EPA or anything. I don't have any underground storage tanks here, so and then I'll make a video when I pipe it, because I'm going to put some cutoff valves on the oil tank where the pipe comes out of the bottom. I'm going to put a ball valve to close it if I have to. If I ever have a leak, um, I'll be able to isolate it in the tank. So, okay, have a great day. Thank you for watching my video.